Vincent. The Fall of the Legal Heir. The Fall into Darkness. A Murder Conspiracy. New York, a city built on money, power, and betrayal. At the top of this empire stood Alexander Griffin, a man who had built Griffin International from the ground up. He had unparalleled wealth and influence, but this power had also created many enemies for him. His greatest enemy was none other than his younger brother, Vincent Griffin. Vincent had always lived in his brother's shadow. He thought of nothing but the company's throne, and his only obstacles were Alexander and his 12-year-old son, Nick Griffin. One night, Alexander boarded his private jet to leave New York, but he never reached his destination. The plane crashed into the ocean. His body was never found. The media reported it as a tragic accident. But the truth was far darker. It was a planned murder by Vincent. Yet moments before the crash, Alexander sent an encrypted message through the watch he always wore. A message that years later would change Nick's life forever. The heir erased from history. After Alexander's death, Vincent manipulated the board of directors and declared himself the new CEO. But more importantly, he had to eliminate the only legal heir. By forging documents, Nick was removed from the inheritance records. He was sent to a boarding school, far from home, family, and the truth. All his connections to the past were severed. But one person did not give up. Danny Walker, the son of the Griffin estate's caretaker and Nick's only true friend. Danny swore that one day he would return and reveal the truth. But that day came much later than he had expected. Return of the Shadows. The Revenge Plan. 16 years later. Chicago. Nick Griffin was no longer the helpless 12-year-old boy. On the surface, he was just an ordinary financial consultant, but deep inside, an unresolved wound burned within him. Until one night, a man named George Carter, his father's former accountant, came to him. He revealed the truth. Your father was murdered, your company was stolen, and you were erased from history. Along with documents, George handed him the watch his father always carried. A watch containing an encrypted message. Nick, if you're seeing this, it means I have failed. But the game isn't over yet. Trust Danny. And remember, not everything you see is the full truth. Now Nick had only one choice: to return. The revenge team entering the battlefield. Nick found Danny. He was now a former Navy veteran, a man with extensive combat and intelligence skills. At first he was skeptical, but after seeing the evidence, he swore never to leave Nick's side. But they needed one more piece. Sophia Blaine, an investigative journalist. A woman who had spent years chasing Vincent's corruption and now had information that could bring down the company. Together, they made a plan. Nick would enter the business world under a fake identity. Danny would infiltrate the company's security systems and uncover evidence of Vincent's corruption, bribery, and murders. Sophia would expose the documents to the media. but they didn't know Vincent had a secret weapon. The final battle. Vincent's fall. Or something bigger. On the night of the company's annual gala, held in a luxurious penthouse, the moment of truth arrived. Danny cut the building's power. Nick made his way toward Vincent. Vincent tried to escape by helicopter. A fierce fight erupted on the rooftop. Vincent's guards fell one by one. Vincent was trapped on the edge of the rooftop. Nick could have pushed him over and ended it all. But suddenly Vincent laughed. "You think it's over? You have no idea who's really behind this." Nick froze. "What?" Vincent smirked. "Your father is alive." Silence. Nick's eyes widened. Danny and Sophia were just as shocked. "You're lying." "I didn't blow up the plane. I just arranged it. Someone else gave the order. Someone you'd never expect." Suddenly, a sniper fired from a distant building. The bullet struck Vincent in the chest, and he fell from the rooftop. Nick immediately looked around, but the sniper had vanished. Someone else was behind all of this. The true heir. But the war has just begun. Nick took back the company. But now he had one burning question. Was his father really alive? A document Sophia found pointed to a secret organization. A group that had been pulling the strings all along. Nick was no longer just an heir. Now he was a target, and a darker truth than he had ever imagined was waiting for him. The end. Or perhaps the beginning of an even greater conspiracy.